Everyone dismisses sea serpents as myth. A Royal Navy captain and his officers would disagree. They were wrong. On August 6, 1848, the crew of Her Majesty's ship Daedalus, sailing off the coast of Africa, encountered something that defied all known biology. An event so extraordinary, it forced a formal report to the British Admiralty, forever etching the HMS Daedalus sea serpent into the annals of unexplained phenomena. This wasn't a fleeting glimpse or a drunken sailor's tale. This was a sustained observation by trained naval officers, meticulously documented and published in the Times of London. It sparked a national debate, drawing in the scientific community and the general public, forcing a serious consideration of creatures thought to exist only in legend. The HMS Daedalus, a 200-ton, 42-gun frigate, was on a routine voyage from the Cape of Good Hope to St. Helena, a journey across vast, largely uncharted ocean. Captain Peter Mkwahi, a seasoned naval officer, commanded the vessel. His reputation and that of his crew would soon be put under immense scrutiny. The afternoon of August 6th was calm. The ship was making good progress, cruising at about 5½ knots. Visibility was excellent, the sky clear. It was precisely the kind of day when observations, particularly unusual ones, would be unambiguous. At around 5 o'clock, the lookout on the foretopmast, a position affording the best possible view, spotted something strange in the water. Not a whale, not a distant ship. Something elongated, moving with an unusual undulation. Captain Mkwahi, along with several of his officers, quickly observed the creature. Their initial impression was that of a massive serpent, with a head held high out of the water, moving rapidly towards the ship. His official report, later published, described a creature about 60 feet in length, and in diameter about 15 inches, of a dark brown color, with a yellowish-white under the throat. The head, he noted, was more like that of a snake than a fish. But it wasn't just the captain. Lieutenant Edgar Drummond, Master Frederick William Strong, and Assistant Surgeon John McLachlan all corroborated the account. Multiple trained observers, confirming the details, each from their own vantage point. The creature was observed for 20 minutes. 20 long minutes, close enough for distinct features to be noted. It passed within 200 yards of the frigate, giving the crew ample time to study its movements and form. The most striking detail was the mane. It had a mane, or rather a quantity of seaweed, of a reddish-brown color running down its back, Mkwahi reported. This mane would become a point of contention and fascination for years to come. The creature moved with an unusual motion, not like a whale or a porpoise. It was not throwing itself out of the water by any means, Mkwahi clarified, but moving rapidly through the water, keeping its head and about 40 feet of its body above the surface. The report reached the Admiralty, and from there it made its way to the public. The Times published Captain Mkwahi's letter, igniting a firestorm of debate. Was it real? Could such a creature truly exist, unknown to science? One of the most vocal skeptics was Sir Richard Owen, a prominent anatomist and superintendent of the Natural History Department at the British Museum. Owen, a giant in Victorian science, dismissed the sighting. Owen proposed that the crew had likely seen a large seal, specifically an elephant seal, or perhaps a sea lion. He argued that the undulating motion and mane could be misinterpreted, especially at sea in the fading light. But Mkwahi, a man of considerable experience, was not easily swayed. He retorted, pointing out that his crew were seasoned sailors, familiar with all manner of marine life. They knew what a seal looked like. The sheer length reported, 60 feet, far exceeded any known seal. And the distinct snake-like head held high was a critical detail that didn't fit Owen's explanation. The debate continued, but no definitive scientific consensus was reached. The Daedalus sighting remained an anomaly, a powerful account that challenged conventional understanding, yet lacked physical evidence. The HMS Daedalus incident, however, was not isolated. Over the centuries, countless reports of large, unknown marine creatures have surfaced, from ancient mariners to modern-day sailors. The term sea serpent itself is ancient. Could these sightings, including the Daedalus report, be glimpses of a surviving population of large marine reptiles, perhaps descendants of plesiosaurs, thought to be extinct for millions of years? The idea, though speculative, fascinates cryptozoologists. The vastness of the ocean, especially the mid-Atlantic, remains largely unexplored. We've mapped less of our seafloor than the surface of Mars. What untold species might lurk in its abyssal depths, occasionally surfacing for a fleeting moment? The Daedalus incident stands as a potent reminder that our understanding of the natural world is far from complete. A Royal Navy captain, his officers, and his crew encountered something profound, something they couldn't explain, yet could not deny. It forces us to consider the limits of our knowledge, to maintain an open mind even in the face of the seemingly impossible. For the unexplained, sometimes, is simply the not yet explained. Explore another documented cryptid sighting with us next time, from the depths of Loch Ness to the forests of the Pacific Northwest.